This is probably not the last tell-all that we'll do.
Industry plant! Industry plant!
And then the person responded and said, no, I'm asking where they're located at. Like, is the band from New York or something? And the Stan account said, we are currently located in Tennessee.
Trampstamps is probably one of the best examples of a possible industry plant that I have seen in a while.
Yeah, we decided to become a band, like, I think it was like the day after my birthday.
Yeah, it was.
February.
Yeah, period.
Hey, it's your Uncle Herman here, and I'm still an alpha male. Today we're delving into the world of the tramp stamps. Not the tattoo placement, but the new girl band taking TikTok by storm for all of the wrong reasons. If you haven't heard of the tramp stamps, they're a TikTok band that appears to be trying to promote their music to everyone, and as more and more people notice them constantly popping up on the TikTok For You page, they started to gain traction for being potential industry plants. An industry plant is an artist who has a major or indie label backing their movement, but present themselves as homegrown or a startup label to create a pseudo-organic following. They act as if things are miraculously happening for them based on their talent, but the reality is a low-risk, high-reward situation for labels looking to build the next new star. It's essentially the music equivalent of when big corporations try and pander to the anti-establishment millennials by pretending to be one of them.
So we googled ourselves, and it seems like people have questions.
What does the tramp stamp stand for? Women's rights. Are tramp stamps offensive?
Yes.
Obviously. Why are tramp stamps so popular? You're watching this video right now.
We're the biggest band in the world.
We are the biggest band in the world. Are tramp stamps still a thing?
Yes.
We're starting. I don't know.
Yes.
The group is made up of 3 women from Nashville, lead singer Marissa Mino, guitarist Caroline Baker, and drummer Paige Blue, each with a distinct hair colour like a sort of Powerpuff Girl situation, I guess so that they can be distinguished from each other like a colour coding type thing. I don't know, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but the 3 contrasting bright hair colours seem like something an executive asked them to do to make them seem more punk and edgy. It just doesn't seem like a choice, but maybe it was. Again, I'm just speculating. They've been posting for around the past 6 months as of making this video and have released all of their music through their supposed own label called Make Tampons Free. Prior to Tramp Stamps, all 3 members seem to have been making music solo. The drummer had been writing and producing music according to her Instagram, the guitarist has been making solo albums and was signed to a label called Prescription Songs in 2019, a label that lead singer Marissa also joined as a writer. However, despite their obvious industry links, the band market themselves as something completely organic, grassroots and independent, and something that simply grew from 3 girls getting drunk and writing songs together. It's also worth noting that the label Prescription Songs is owned by Dr. Luke, a music producer with a whole host of lawsuits filed against him by Kesha for alleged harassment, the exact type of guy that they seem to spend a lot of time condemning in their songs. As the band started gaining a following, many TikTok users started reposting their content with commentary voicing their confusion over how a band like this that's supposedly just starting out could have such a huge budget for professional looking music videos, websites, and even an entire merch line just a few months into their existence.
Wow, their first post on their Instagram is a fully animated piece of media with a link tree to literally every social media site, like off the bat with like 23,000 followers, but their posts only get like a couple thousand likes and barely at that. Oh, what? Their YouTube video says they come from this record label. That's crazy. What? Oh, they have a fully designed website with full CSS and HTML5 setups and animations. Oh, and the lead is this girl, you know, the purple hair one, looks real punk. Oh, but wait, no, she was a singer who a few months ago was trying to do this Lana Del Rey thing and it didn't work, and now this is where the label put her. Same with the other guitarist. That's crazy. It's almost like it's a bunch of people who were like theater majors and shit, who had rich parents, and now they're co-opting Riot Girl aesthetics that people literally dedicate their lives to for money.
Heard about these people last night and I'm fascinated, so let's do an Insta deep dive. Band's Insta is not too interesting, they're not verified. First post in November 2020, announcing each of the band members and their individual handles, so let's go there. Started with Caro, who was verified. I'm not yet convinced that these aren't the same person. Seems to have a deal with Spotify. Changed her Instagram handle in August. His management said so, same time the trademark happened. She also has a good amount of acoustic music out already. Announced the band November 2020. Bring us to Paige, who is not verified. Seems to be more of a producer and promotes a lot of stuff on here. Produced a song with Caro. Seems to be good friends. They went on a trip before the band was announced. Also November 2020. Bringing us to the front girl, Marissa, who also has a deal with Spotify, something with Hollywood Life, and some radio stations. Is a writer. Her music is very poppy. Announces the band November 2020, but makes it seem like they were already a band. I think Spotify's the link between all of them.
In April, the band allegedly filed for the copyright of the name trampstamps, and one TikToker found that the address that was used to register the name was the address of an entertainment company.
In August of 2020, they registered for a trademark on their name so they could use it for things like merch. Keep in mind they didn't post their first TikTok till November of 2020, a few months later. And so this is the address and the person who was responsible for applying for that trademark back in August. That address belongs to an entertainment business management company. A bit suspicious that they had an entertainment management company applying for trademarks for them, like several months before they posted even their first TikTok.
The main backlash for the band started when they began promoting their single I'd Rather Die, which featured the compelling lyric, I'd rather die than hook up with another straight white guy. The song has been largely criticised for just being bad.
So I know, like me, a lot of other people have been seeing this industry plant female punk band all over their For You page for the past 3 days. This isn't about their racism or the fact that they're industry plants or the fact that they buy all of their clothes from Doll's Kill, but the song from that video, which has been removed from TikTok because everyone is relentlessly shitting on how bad it is, has been released today. And I'll just say, if you thought the first verse was bad, just wait for the second one. So right off the bat, we have, I don't know how you think we're gonna fuck when you can't get it up, I'm sick of hearing it's the alcohol. Something about the implication that she's sick of him because he can't or does not want to have sex with her doesn't sit right with me. And then we have, I'm just saying it's not fair to leave me hanging like this. I know that men not reciprocating is a common issue, but this, combined with this, is just gross. Assault is not punk.
Their song I'd Rather Die has also been accused of being exclusionary and preaching all of these social justice messages about straight white men and in turn not recognising their own privilege. Alia Chowdhury wrote a great article in Slate, reading, "They're co-opting a riot girl aesthetic, a punk music movement that failed to be intersectional and was exclusionary, centering white women's experiences and essentially ignoring people of colour. Despite Riot Girl's feminist roots, the dissonance of its reality seems emblematic of Trampstamps' own issues. Trampstamps are a band made up of 3 white cis women who refuse to own any of the privilege they obviously have. Many fans were under the impression that the entire band was queer, leading the band to deny this, and Mino to confirm both on TikTok and on Instagram that she alone is queer. Championing this aesthetic without recognising its limitations is another failure on Trampstamps' part to do justice to its message of inclusivity. I mean, at this point it's almost like they're using this hatred of straight white men as a gimmick."
So somebody asked the Trampstamps, why did you steal this other band's name? That's kind of... And they said, oh sorry, we don't pay attention to white cis boys, haven't you heard? And they said, Ms. Girl, all of you are cis and white. Marissa is literally Italian.
Okay, if you somehow haven't heard about this yet, there's this band. And there are some suspicious things that point to them being an industry plant. Like these separate artists that don't actually make punk music put together. And I agree with all these accusations and critiques about their music. But I'd like to also point out that they are emulating this riot girl punk aesthetic, which honestly bothers me because these music execs were so out of touch. Not only did they believe that they could market this facade well to Gen Z, they just totally ignored the problems that came with Riot Girl. Like, Riot Girl was exclusive. It was very white women feminism centered. And it's just so sad that they took these 3 white women and they were like, hey, that'll work. Like, okay, we're still not ready to address the problems with Riot Girl. Anyways, if you're looking for a diverse pop punk, Black and Latino band, meet me at the altar.
So the words Riot Girl and Riot Girl aesthetic has come up quite a lot when talking about this band. The Riot Girl aesthetic and movement was a punk aesthetic started in the early 90s. Another.com defines it as a group of female musicians fueled by anger at the misogyny in national news stories and at a local level within the music scene itself. Riot Girl sought to frame feminist issues through a punk rock lens, sparking a third wave of feminism. Riot Girls railed against commercial, capitalist culture, mainstream standards of beauty, and expected female behaviour, and their relationship with clothing and self-image is one that disassociated political passivity from engagement with style. However, the movement was largely criticised for centering the conversation around white women and not being as inclusive as it pretended to be. An article written by Lena Dawes in 2013 talks about growing up in the Riot Girl era, writing that, "I distinctly remember the white women within the punk scene were capable of being just as exclusionary and bigoted as the men were, and among the white women I knew who identified as feminists, there was a strong sense that there was little to no concern as to how ethnicity made my experience as a woman different than theirs. There was no knowledge and, more importantly, no interest to know." In essence, it was the dawn of white feminism, and the tramp stamps seem to be bringing it back. It's also important to note that the lead singer has a backlog of tweets that were unearthed, and they have since tried to squash this by privating all of their Twitter accounts. I don't know why they wouldn't clean up their personal social medias before embarking on this whole tramp stamps thing, but I'm also kind of glad that these tweets were found, as it shows us the kind of people that we're dealing with. The group posted a TikTok apology after the uproar at their song I'd Rather Die, saying that it wasn't about race at all and it was just a way to tell men to be better in bed, tactfully avoiding any of the real issues that were being brought up and turning it back around on men being the problem, not them.
Hey guys, we've been seeing a lot of these comments, and so we wanted to get on here and clear the air. We see you, we hear you, we don't want you to feel like we don't. One, we are not fetishizing people of color. That's not what we intended. That's not what the song is about or supposed to be about. Two, we realize that we are white girls, and we're not trying to remove ourselves from our whiteness. We realize that there's privilege that comes with that, and we don't take that lightly. We wrote the song because we realized we had a similar poor sexual experience with a straight white guy with the same name, and that's what the song is about. It's basically just a dramatic way to tell men to be better in bed.
The music and TikToks have pretty much become a meme at this point because it's just not good. It has a very Jake Paul music vibe. They've been described as BuzzFeed core or the band version of Riverdale, some pretty damning comparisons, and in my opinion, BuzzFeed's meets Riverdale meets Amazon recommendations is exactly the vibe that I'm getting from the tramp stamps. And whether they were manufactured or not, the groups seem to have no chemistry. The videos that they make together are just really awkward, and there are loads of jump cuts. For example, in one of their first Get to Know Us videos.
Who had the initial thought of forming a band? Honestly,
kind of you.
Yeah, well, it was like I needed someone else to tell me that it was okay to have the idea. So I guess like technically I would say it was my manager, but I brought it to her hoping that, my manager at the time, hoping that she would say that you should form a band, as opposed to like, you guys should just sell the song, like whatever. But I didn't come up with a name. Oh, Carol, okay. I like nice people, and apparently girls that look like me, according to Carol.
Very true. I like really nice people.
It just has a really weird vibe, and even if they're not industry plants, I don't know why they're working together if the chemistry is this bad. Their aesthetic also seems to be very sudden and forced. Not so long ago, if you scroll through these girls' Instagrams, they were posting anything but this sort of pop punk style, and I'm not saying that your personal style can't change, but all three of them suddenly making a massive U-turn seems quite fishy. The main problem seems to be that they're just not authentic. They're trying to appeal to Gen Z, but absolutely no one is buying it. After all the backlash they received, on the 17th of April 2021, the tramp stamps posted a notes apology to Twitter and Instagram to try and clear up all the criticism that they'd been receiving. Spoiler alert, it was a terrible apology that cleared nothing up. So the apology reads, "Hi tramp stamps here. The misinformation and lies that feed this cancel culture are so toxic. We are three women who've been writing and producing music for many years, busting our asses in the music business while building our personal careers. We all crossed paths and wrote together as a band for the first time in February 2020, and our unfiltered conversations together led to the songs that you're all so pressed about right now. As soon as we started sending these songs around, just about every label A&R was wanting us to sign with them, but we decided to do something different. We chose not to sign with a major label so we could have full creative control. We made our own label called Make Tampons Free, which is distributed through AWOL, which literally stands for Artists Without a Label. We own Make Tampons Free and no one else, so off on all of that. We wrote these songs 100% between the band, Caro, Marissa and Paige. As songwriters, we pull from past and present experiences between the three of us. Caro and Paige produced the songs, Paige mixed them. You if you're so fucking sexist that you can't believe this band was created and built from the ground up by three women. Industry plants, the irony is outstanding. Caro and Marissa are both signed to RX Songs. RX Songs is a publishing company, not a label. Publishing companies sign writers and producers and give them an advance so that they can live and help set up sessions and get songs placed with other artists and TV shows, etc. Paige is signed as a writer and producer to Downtown Music Publishing and Pray for My Haters Publishing, which is not her own artist development company. Lol, that was funny though. It's flattering that you think our graphics are so good that we couldn't possibly do it without a major label. Shout out to our 21-year-old freelance graphic designer that Marissa met in college. We love her and agree that she's extremely talented. She's been credited on our posts from the beginning. Rolling Stone, Newsweek, The Verge, Daily Dot, shame on all of you. Let's start with you, Rolling Stone. Cute, queer, clickbait headline. We'd assume a reputable news outlet such as yourself would wait to get a comment from the band before releasing such a mangled, trash, infactual article. Queer punk band? The band is not a queer band. We're a band that has a queer member. Lesbian in a TikTok, Marissa responded saying she was gay. It's up that she's being forced to clarify this, but she will quite literally sleep with anyone. That includes all and any pronouns or identifications. Queer identity and a punk aesthetic for their own career gains. You, Rolling Stone. Now let's talk about the tweets. Marissa tweeted out language when she was 15 that she is deeply ashamed of. This language is not true to the person she is today, nor does she or the band condone that language. In 8 years, people grow up and change. Shall we move on to ageism? Our oldest member is 29 years old. Some of you think she has a kid too, and you've all pointed out the obvious fact that she's married. She doesn't have a baby, but the idea that a female being 29 and having a family could negate her ability to be a relevant creator is absolutely embarrassing. Men create music until they're 900 years old and have families, and no one gives a shit about them. We've been quiet for a few days, but not anymore. You've gone to the ends of the fucking earth to shit on us, have told us to kill ourselves, and have used conspiracy theories as a TikTok trend to get more views on your own videos. You don't like our music? Don't listen to it. We're not going anywhere. Comments are back on, have fun, and don't forget to water your plants. So let's unpack that. First of all, to blame it on cancel culture makes little sense because they're not being cancelled. They're being laughed at for their cringe content and their intentions are being questioned. It's different. They're not losing fans because they had very few in the first place. They've literally only been famous for 5 minutes and it's purely negative fame. They throw around a lot of isms saying that it's sexism that nobody believes they were built from the ground up. But the problem isn't their gender. There are loads of incredible female artists and bands that did build themselves from the ground up and nobody negates their ability to do that. It's the fact that they have no visible chemistry, their aesthetic seems extremely forced, and the fact that none of them have shown any interest in the punk genre before starting the band. They also say that people are being ageist. Again, the comments about Paige's age that I saw were only because they're trying to appeal to a young Gen Z demographic, and the band members seem a lot older than those that they're trying to be down with. The whole apology was very aggressive and seemed to attempt to depict the band as the ultimate victims of the media, instead of calmly addressing any of the issues that people have rightfully been raising, and they failed to provide any real facts to negate any of the allegations. And to just address the tweets in one sentence saying that Marissa has changed is a bit of a cop-out. An online zine wrote in a response to their apology that this diversion is just another example of white people using their marginalized identity to dismiss their race. The criticism the band received was not a result of sexism, but rather a response to their commercialized feminism. I'm in no way denying that they could have experienced misogyny in the industry, nor do I doubt that it's filled with sexism, but not every critique of a woman is rooted in misogyny. If the band truly believed that they were being targeted for being self-sufficient women, that issue should have been discussed separately from the band's racism. These things do not fall under the same umbrella. And to quote one more amazing paragraph written by Alia Chowdhury for Slate.com that I'll link below, I think this perfectly summarizes the issue with tramp stamps. It reads, "There are plenty of punk bands with women, people of colour, non-binary and queer people, but they may not get access to the same kind of label resources and social privileges that have benefited the tramp stamps, nor do they often find anywhere near the same level of success. A similar dynamic is at play on TikTok where marginalised groups generate the majority of the most popular and viral content. Yet while while acts like trampstamps, along with scores of cis white influencers backed by hefty content and sponsorship deals, continue to gain fame and popularity, marginalized TikTok creators continue to see wealthy white cis people take credit for their work in increasingly public ways, without the original creators reaping any of the benefits. If trampstamps stood for the issues the band professes to, a traditionally punk ethos of elevating marginalized experiences, they wouldn't be seeking to benefit from the same problematic systems that perpetuate those issues. Music fans on TikTok are no longer going to be silent about that problem, even if the platform is often complicit in it. It's time for bands like trampstamps to be honest about what industrial privilege they hold and what systematic problems they're playing into. And I couldn't agree more. Whether they're an industry plant or not, they've clearly missed the mark and have had some sort of privilege and help from people within the industry, whether it was all manufactured by someone behind the scenes or the girls themselves. It's a little embarrassing if you ask me. The more that comes out about them, people are no longer really concerned with them being an industry plant. They're more just annoyed at the actual band themselves, the people that are within it, and the music that they're putting out. And so that is why everyone is suddenly talking about the trampstamps. It's really troubling me quite a lot that I've had to say that name in all sincerity throughout this video. Thank you so much for watching. I have, as always, been your Uncle Herman. You can like and subscribe if you feel like it, and I'll see you very soon in my next video.